Hello Malaysia and welcome to episode 12 of Medical Today with me, Jared Ratnam. Of course, we're closing in on the end of season 2. We've got another couple of episodes to go. But as always, we have quite a variety of topics for you in Medical Today. Now today, to begin the show, we have our aging and well-being perspective. That's a little something we start off with on every show in season 2. And to do that, we spoke to Tan Sri Dr. Lim Wee Chai, the Executive Chairman of Top Glove Corporation, Berhad. Over the week, we caught up with him and had a chat with him about his ethos and philosophy with regards to aging and well-being and with regards to life and moving forward at all times. Let's take a look at that interview. Tan Sri, thank you very much for joining us on the show. It's a pleasure and an honor to have you here, to take time out of your busy schedule to join us and to talk to us about one of the things you extol a lot about is health and well-being. So we're going to be talking about that, and Dr. Nav and me are going to try to get some answers from you. Now, we'd like to start with the importance of taking care of your health at an early age. But you have a perspective on this. Can you give us your perspective?
See, we must do everything. We must have an aim, objective. Okay, I will share with my friend. My work is my hobby. Exercise is my duty. Health is wealth. So, why health is so important? Money cannot buy health and time. Health can earn time. So normal life expectancy, example, in Malaysia they say 80 years. So normal people will live 80 years old. But if we are healthy, we can earn 10 years extra, 20, 30 or 40 years extra. So my aim, my objective is to earn 40 years extra. So to live 80 plus 40
80
years,
plus 40.
120 years old.
Yes. Wow.
That is my
So that's your main goal, objective, target.
So if we are not healthy, we will have a discount,
right,
and lose. Our time can lose. We can earn, can lose. Just like do business, you can earn money, you can lose money.
Very importantly, when I came in, I was quite excited because Dr. Nawin was talking about the 5 W's, Dr. Nawin.
Yes.
Yeah, so
Tan Sri should tell. He actually taught me about the 5 wells and he indicated it to all the staffs.
Yeah.
Tan Sri has 18,000 staff. Everybody knows.
So the 5 W's are also known as the 5 wells.
5 wells.
Okay, Tan Sri, what is the 5 wells?
Oh, this is very important. 5 wells. In order to live until 120 years old, we need these 5 wells. First well is we call clean well. In the morning, we wake up, we have to brush our teeth and take bath. So clean well means to us, we need to brush teeth 3 times a day and take bath 2 times a day. And then after clean well, the second is to eat well. So our breakfast, our lunch, our dinner, we must eat well. Eat quality and variety. food and not quantity. We always eat moderately, variety. You know why? Our body is like smart factories. We produce millions of cells every day. Brain cell, heart cell, stomach cell, lung cell, skin cell, blood cell, bone cell, skin cell. So
All are
many
stem cells.
So we need good raw materials. If our raw material is good, we produce good cell, good products. We produce glove, I know. In order to produce good quality glove, I must have good raw materials.
Right. So let's count down again. So the 5 wells, the first one is clean well. The second one is eat well. And then?
Third one is to work well. Work well means that you have to work with honesty, integrity, and transparency. So that we work well, we exercise our brain, so we have a duty and responsibility to do. We have a commitment in our life, in our work, so that we can live longer. If you don't work, your brain is not exercising. Like our leg, if you don't exercise, you cannot walk. Redundant. So we have to exercise our brain moderately. Sometimes you need some vigorous exercise. Sometimes our brain needs to have some stress.
Needs to be challenged, yeah?
It's in line with
Right.
what we have been talking about, the aging process.
Right.
Yeah,
Exercise
clean well, eat well, work well, and then after work we need to exercise, de-stress. Exercise very important. I exercise almost every day. I do yoga exercise or stretching exercise.
Right.
Every morning 10 minutes, evening 10 minutes. Okay. And then also I
So it's
play
exercise well is the
badminton.
fourth one, yeah?
For one, play badminton Monday and Friday 2 times a day. Golf 1 or 2 times a week. Badminton 2 times a week. Yoga 1 hour on Sunday. Golf on Tuesday and Thursday evening. Play for 9 holes, 1-2 hours we
It's all
walk.
natural
Right.
strength training.
So
well
right.
schedule. So after exercise, the 5th well.
Let me try the 5th well. Sleep well.
Yeah, very important. Sleeping is very important.
Yeah.
Make sure we sleep 7 to 8 hours. Don't save 1 hour of sleeping. The next morning you lose 2 hours of productivity. You will not be efficient. So in order to sleep well, make sure that our room, the temperature must maintain stable and suitable. Okay, and then of course our mind must be clear and clean. Don't cheat people. Be honest. Then we can sleep well. Okay, so with these 5 wells, I'm sure we can live more than 100 years.
Right. Dr.
That's the
Navin,
way.
I'm sure you have some burning questions.
No, that's how he does that. And then when he say clean well, Tan Sri's company Top Glove actually gives all the staffs toothbrush, 2 toothbrush per year for them to clean tongue.
No need
cleaner,
toothbrush.
Toothpaste. the
Toothbrush, toothpaste, tongue cleaner, tender floss.
Right. Why do you focus a lot on oral health?
Oh, very important. You know why? Our tooth is the thinnest skin in our body, one of the thinnest skin. So our mouth is dirty. Why? Because we have food, we have water, we have oxygen in our mouth. Then where the bacteria can
Thrive.
they
Thrive
can
and multiply inside.
produce and multiply many thousands and millions of bacteria. Once we open our mouth, the bacteria will go in and they will produce plenty of bacteria. And then this bacteria is like enemy. They will attack our throat. Our throat, the skin is very thin. So they will go inside and attack. They will go into your bloodstream. Where our army, our immune system, they are fighting with them every day. So in order to reduce the bacteria or enemy, we must remove the food supply to the bacteria or the enemy.
That's why our hands and the mouth are the most dirtiest part.
Right.
Clean
Right.
hands, you have the gloves.
So we must clean.
So I was watching a very interesting video about the gloves and how it's the first line of protection.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. Or you have to wash your hands.
Yeah.
And we cannot be washing your hands so many
Okay,
times.
here's another thing, Tan Sri. Sorry to cut in, but I see apples here, and I'm wondering why we are having apples here.
So as you know, we encourage to eat well, eat variety
Right.
and eat healthy food. Food is like raw material. So we give them good raw material, they produce healthy cell. It's just like we producing glove or any product. You give them good raw material, produce good product.
Yeah.
You want to find a defective glove or product also difficult.
Mhm.
If you give them good food, good raw material, you want to produce a bad cell also difficult.
Right.
So problem is in the past, people give you 10 types of thing to eat or food to eat. You must select the good one. Don't take everything. Good one, good food also you eat. Bad food also you eat. That's why some people sometimes healthy, sometimes sick. If you take only good and healthy food, no chance to fall sick.
Mhm.
If you take care the 5 wells,
Right.
you want to sit also difficult.
And one of the reasons why we put the apples here, yesterday, Tan Sri's company actually gave all his staffs an apple or an orange. For every month, all the staffs get that 18,000 from Kulim all the way up to Johor.
Wow, wow. But I also understand, like Tan Sri has a nutritionist in-house for all of Top Club staff.
Yeah, we have 5 nutritionists,
5.
2 medical doctors,
Mhm.
1 dentist,
Mhm.
3 nurses, 1 pharmacist, and 4 medical assistants. 16 of these healthcare professionals take care of the health of our staff. We have 18,000 staff and workers. So to us, healthy employees is very important so that they can stay well, they can work well, they have a quality mindset, they have quality life, they have high efficiency and productivity.
Right. So a lot of what I know about you, I talked to Dr. Navin, and I was always wondering, and I don't know how much you go to your cafes or your cafeterias to look at what's being served to your staff. Do you ever do that?
Yeah, every week I go to their canteen because during our factory inspection, so you inspect the production, the factory floor, canteen, and even toilet. I will go and inspect the factory every Monday
And the
at 11
nutritionist-
o'clock.
And the nutritionist also advises what to eat, the amount of salt in the food,
Yeah.
the amount of kind of oil that you use to cook.
Wow.
So if you start all that at a young age, that's how you can reach that 120 mark if you want to.
Yeah.
And I think what's important here is what you're doing for your staff. And if you were to give a few tips to those of us who are running companies and having people under us, what would your advice or your tip be?
So the first thing, you must stay healthy and fit every day.
Right. To tell your staff all that every day.
Yeah. So that's why we labor very well, the 5 wells labor, and explain to them, talk to them every day, every lunch. During lunchtime or dinner time, we will explain to them. So we labor in the factory, in the office, everywhere, in the pantry, in the...
You constantly remind them.
canteen,
Yes.
Yes, remind them stay healthy is very important. We need to stay healthy every day. Every day we need to improve, we need to stay healthy and add value.
Right. One point I think is interesting is the fact that Tan Sri talks about putting integrity into whatever you do and keeping your mind clean. So cleanliness of mind is also very important. And how do you practice that at work with the people under you? 18,000 people.
You want to do well, you want to live well and do well, you want to be successful, you must be physically and mentally healthy. We need both, physically healthy and mentally healthy.
Thank you very much. Tan Sri, it was a pleasure and an honor. Dr. Nawin, always is an honor having you as a wingman. Thank you very much. Yeah. That was the very vibrant Tan Sri Dr. Lim Wee Chai, Executive Chairman of Top Glove Corporation, Berhad. Of course, over the week, we were lucky enough to meet up with him at his office to talk to him about life and also about what he thinks about aging and well-being and the little things he does to make things better as he moves into the next era of his life. Well, we'll take a short break and we'll come back with more for you right here on episode 12 of Medical Today on BNC.
I have a vision correction number, but I'm more than a number. When I'm not enjoying my little sunshine, I'm enjoying my city's modern architecture. My SLE lenses go beyond my correction. Their creasel technology shields my eyes from reflections, scratches and smudges for optimal clarity. I'm more than a number. I'm a crystal clear catcher of the perfect image.
See more, do more. SLE. Ask your eye care expert for advice.
I have a vision correction number, but I'm more than a number. When I'm not sharing ideas with my colleagues, I'm defending my kingdom on the back of a dragon. My Eyezen lenses go beyond my correction. They keep my eyes relaxed to stay focused and protect me from harmful blue light. I'm more than a number. I'm the never tired Dragon Eye Eyezen.
Ask your eye care professional. See more, do more. SLE.
Hello Malaysia and welcome back to Medical Today with me, Jared Ratnam. I certainly do hope you enjoyed that segment we had. Before we went for a break, we were talking about aging and well-being. Now, musculoskeletal problems is another issue most of us face at any one time, especially those of us who have sedentary lifestyles. Now, restoring mobility and keeping in motion is our next topic. Our on-site host, the very lovely Nurata Amin, spoke to a Dr. Lau Kai Po, a consultant orthopedic and trauma surgeon from the Regency Specialist Hospital with regards to restoring mobility and keeping in motion. Let's take a look at Nurata's interview.
It is estimated 60% of the worldwide population aged 60 and above have some form of osteoarthritis. Understanding osteoarthritis will help patients to live with it better. With Medical Today, we have Dr. Lau Kai Po, the resident consultant, orthopedic and trauma surgeon, Regency Specialist Hospital, to talk about osteoarthritis. So what is osteoarthritis, doctor?
Yes, osteoarthritis is an active disease process which involves cartilage destruction, bone thickening under the cartilage, and also new bone formation. Osteoarthritis is a progressive disease which due to failure in repair of the cartilage. Right. Osteoarthritis is one of the major causes of disability in the world, apart from ischemic heart disease, stroke, and even cancer.
I didn't know that. So how common is osteoarthritis?
Osteoarthritis for those aged above 65 years old,
okay.
That means in the elderly age group, is estimated 60% or more will have some form of osteoarthritis.
How about those who have osteoarthritis from accident cases?
Yes, those are what we call it as post-traumatic osteoarthritis. They may have accident, fracture the bones, and this fracture which is near towards the joint, for example the femur or the tibia. So this is called malalignment of the bone, and right. They are prone for osteoarthritis after some times, and maybe about 2 to 5 years or even 10 years after the accident.
Right, okay. So what are the signs and symptoms of it?
Sign symptom of the osteoarthritis, normally the patient will complain of pain at the joint.
Okay.
Apart from the pain, there will be swelling of the joint and reduced movement. So apart from reduced movement, patient may feel crepitus or what we call that rubbing sounds of the joint when they move, they walk, or going up staircase. So
Ooh,
the
I'm
early
feeling it
sign
already.
may be, the early sign may be those having pain while going up staircase. Yeah, that could be one of the early signs of osteoarthritis. So when they come to us as the orthopedic surgeon, we will examine the patient after taking the history to know their risk factors. So after examination, we think that this is osteoarthritis, then we may send the patient for further investigation such as x-rays of the joints. And quite uncommon, sometimes we want to rule out other causes. We may subject the patient to MRI imaging.
All right, so MRI imaging, so that's the last part to confirm an osteoarthritis.
Not all will go for MRI, not
Okay.
necessarily.
The X-ray.
The majority are the X-rays. Only small cases when we are not sure, maybe there are other associated factors or other causes, then may we subject the patient to the MRI. Otherwise, the X-ray will be more than enough.
All right, so how do we prevent osteoarthritis?
Osteoarthritis, we need to know the risk factors involved of the osteoarthritis. Risk factors, they are what we call that modifiable risk factors and non-modifiable risk factors. The modifiable risk factors usually refer to those that we can modify. Example, the body mass index or BMI. If the person has those having osteoarthritis with BMI of more than 25 kilogram per meter square, so this is what we call that overweight range.
Okay.
Not even obese, but overweight. So we will try to reduce the BMI. I mean, those BMI more than 25, they are prone for osteoarthritis.
Okay.
Apart from that, will be what we call the malalignment of the joint. Normally, these are due to accident cases. The bone or fracture, the bone are not being alignment.
Yeah, what we
so
mentioned
this
just
called malalignment. Yes. So these are what we call modifiable risk factor. Non-modifiable risk factor would be like advancing age. We cannot stop the clock.
Okay.
Yes. Female is also
Is it high risk?
have a higher risk of osteoarthritis
Than men?
than the man. Yes.
Oh, okay. In the world or only in Malaysia?
Well, all over the world.
Oh,
All over
all
the
right. Okay. So, are there cures for this?
Well, I thought that actually there's no cure for osteoarthritis. Osteoarthritis is a progressive disease which we can control or slow down the process.
Okay.
So to control or slow down the process, we need some lifestyle modification, such as if let's say the patient has a BMI of more than 25, we'll ask the patient to reduce their weight, to reduce their BMI to less than 25. They will also be advised to do some exercises, like movement, like usual example, swimming or cycling, or any low impact exercise like brisk walking.
Right.
If the non-pharmacological or without medication treatment fail, then we can give patients some painkiller to tie over a short period. Painkiller, we cannot give for too long. Normally, we cannot give for more than 1 month because they got a lot of side effects such as gastritis, kidney failure, or even heart disease. So you should not self-medicate. You should seek doctor if you need painkiller, because if you self-medicate, then you may prolong. Then if there is any complication arise, then you may not know. Apart from the painkiller, we have supplement like glucosamine, or the other thing would be the intraocular injections like hyaluronan. And towards the end, if there is no other choice to and the joint are quite bad, and total joint replacement is the indication for the patient.
Doctor, can you elaborate more on hyaluronan?
Hyaluronan is a viscous supplement of the joint. In our joint, actually, there is in normal joint the cartilage are protected by a thick fluid.
Okay.
This thick fluid hyaluronate used to protect the cartilage and provide nutrient to the cartilage. In the patient who has osteoarthritis, this thick fluid will be thinner or even normal. So this intraocular injection of this hyaluronate is to replace this fluid.
Okay.
And there are two types of this hyaluronate injection, single injection and also multiple injection.
Okay, 2 types.
And multiple injection will be repeated every week for 3 weeks to 5 weeks. And we may, if it effective, it may last for about a year. And we can repeat it as many times as possible.
Okay, and what is total joint replacement?
Total joint replacement is an operation. It is a life-changing operation.
Oh, okay.
Because with the operation, you no need to have painkiller. You no need to go for annual intraarticular injection, and your mobility will improve much compared to before the operation. So this operation normally are done in elderly age group, 60 years and above. And it is estimated it can last about 10-15 years or sometimes up to 20 years.
Oh, that's quite long.
Yes.
Okay. How about cases like accident cases?
Those accident cases who has a post-traumatic osteoarthritis, if the joint are much damaged, then they have no other choice, although they are in the younger age group, yes, they are still indicated for joint replacement as well.
All right.
Yes.
Total joint replacement. Interesting. Okay, Dr. Lau, thank you for being with us on Medical Today.
Thank you.
All right.
There we had it, a treasure trove of information with regards to restoring mobility and keeping in motion at all times. Just to give you some added information, musculoskeletal conditions and pain affect people at any time, any age. There are treatment options available. You really need to go out and speak to subject matter experts and, of course, specialists who are out there giving opinions and also advice at all times. So Nurata Amin spoke to Dr. Lau Kai Po, consultant orthopedic and trauma surgeon from the Regency Specialist Hospital with regards to restoring mobility and keeping in motion. Thank you, Dr. Lau. Thank you, Nurata. We'll take a short break and come back with more for you right here on episode 12 of Medical Today. Stay with us.
I have a vision correction number, but I'm more than a number. When I'm not teaching courses, I'm taking steeper grades and tight corners. My SLR lenses go beyond my correction. They make my vision as sharp as my reflexes to capture every detail from near to far at any speed. I'm more than a number. I'm a rapidly focusing champion of courses.
See more, do more. Essilor. Ask your eye care expert for advice.
I have a vision correction number, but I'm more than a number. When I'm not enjoying my little sunshine, I'm enjoying my city's modern architecture. My Astro lenses go beyond my correction. Their creasel technology shields my eyes from reflections, scratches and smudges for optimal clarity. I'm more than a number. I'm a crystal clear catcher of the perfect image.
See more, do more. Essilor. Ask your eye care expert for advice.
Hey Malaysia, welcome back to Medical Today with me, Gerard Ratnam. We just spoke about restoring mobility and keeping in motion. Dr. Lau Kai Po from Regency Specialist Hospital gave us some information. He spoke to our very lovely on-site host, Nurata Amin, with regards to staying or moving at all times. From there, we'll talk about rheumatism. Now, there's a lot of wives' tales with regards to that, but it's best we hear it from the experts now. not many of us know this, but rheumatism affects approximately 10 in 1,000 of all of us here in Malaysia, and that's quite a large number. Now, the person who's usually in charge of ascertaining this is a rheumatologist. So to talk about rheumatism, our on-site host, Narata Amin, went down to Mahkota Medical Center to meet Dr. Shalini Ramanujam. She's a consultant physician and a rheumatologist from Mahkota Medical Center, and they spoke at length with regards to rheumatism. Here's the interview. Let's take a look at it.
Rheumatoid arthritis, RA, and systemic lupus erythematosus, SLE, are autoimmune diseases. While RA is a chronic disease that affects approximately 0.5% to 1% of the adult population, SLE is a disease in which the body immune system mistakenly attacks healthy tissues in many parts of the body. We have Dr. Shalini Ramanujam to help you understand RA and SLE better.
Thank you for having me on Medical Today.
Yes, we're also glad to have you with us. So, Doctor, let's begin with RA. What is RA?
RA is also called rheumatoid arthritis. It is a chronic inflammatory disease of the joint whereby the immune system is wrongly misguided and misdirected towards attacking its own joints. Now, what happens in patients with rheumatoid arthritis is the joints become very painful, they become very swollen, and if it is not treated early, the joints become swollen, deformed, and this leads to great significant amount of functional disability. The disease in itself is very biphasic in terms of age distribution. Most patients have the disease between the age of 20 to 40, but it is not uncommon that teens develop the disease, and patients less than 16 years of age, when they develop rheumatoid arthritis, it's termed as juvenile idiopathic arthritis. What triggers the disease is very multifactorial. Most often, the researchers show that there is a high link of genetic affiliation to development of RA. But what studies have shown now, the actual predilection towards the disease is cigarette smoking, as well as chronic infections such as chronic gum diseases that are termed chronic periodontal diseases. This is why most patients who develop the disease have some degree of exposure to cigarette smoking, whether it's active smokers or passive smokers.
All right, so you mentioned about it starts as teenagers, right? So at what age does arthritis usually start?
Usually at the age of between 20 to 40. Okay. And for some strange reason, women have a higher predilection to develop the disease. In the National Inflammatory Arthritis Registry in Malaysia, what we have found is that in a ratio of 7 to 1, 7 women to 1 male develop rheumatoid arthritis. But there is also a significant portion of children less than 16 years of age also do develop such symptoms.
So what are the first signs of rheumatoid arthritis?
The signs can be very many. They can begin as simple as fatigue, weight loss, or feeling unwell generally. But the most specific signs that these patients come about with is very significant amount of early morning stiffness that they experience in their joints after a period of inactivity, and very often that happens in the morning when they wake up. But very specific symptoms that they notice is when their joints start swelling up. Very often it is the small joints of the hands, the wrist, the elbows, shoulders, knees, ankles, and feet. And the distribution of these joint involvement are very symmetrical. So what happens, the joints become very painful and they become swollen over time, and this leads to functional disability. For instance, even opening the knob of a door or even opening the lid of a jar becomes a very difficult activity for them. Apart from the joints, RA also can have its effect on the lungs, the eyes, as well as blood vessels. So inflammation basically occurring everywhere in the body leads to the problems that these patients face.
I see. So what is the best treatment for rheumatoid arthritis?
Well, treatment in the sense, there are very many. We are very lucky that we are living in an era where treatment modalities for our age are just surplus with the advent of researchers all over the world. But what is most important is understanding of the disease. Most patients fail to come forward in the absence of recognizing the symptoms early. So medications include the usage of non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs to ease the pain and swelling, but most often the cornerstone of therapy is steroid usage. And steroid therapy is very beneficial, especially if we detect symptoms in a very early stage of the disease, but the usage of steroids are often not long-term. The mainstay of treatment would be the usage of disease-modifying anti-rheumatic drugs that are plentiful, and these medications we tailor to the patient's expectations. So there are many there that we can choose from. The best so far where we see rapid improvement of symptoms is this new therapy called biologic therapy, whereby most of it are in the injection form, and these are definitely a miraculous breakthrough in the treatment armamentarium of rheumatoid arthritis. Apart from medications, what we usually advocate patients to do is to have joint protective gears, as well as joint exercises, which are of utmost importance. And we do a lot of counseling and education for patients as well as their family members, because as you know, this is a chronic disease and it is a battle that is often not won alone. You need the support of all family members to battle this disease.
Yeah, correct. So Dr. Shalini, what are the signs and symptoms of SLE?
SLE again is another autoimmune disease, just like rheumatoid arthritis, predominantly affecting young females. Now again, it is one of those diseases where the immune system wrongly attacks different parts of the body. Now, depending on which part of the body is attacked, the signs and symptoms of SLE may vary. Early symptoms can be as simple as regular fevers, fatigue, weight loss, but very specific symptoms that these patients endure are mouth ulcers, a typical characteristic rash that they notice on their face, especially on the cheeks upon exposure to the sunlight. They also may experience loss of hair, joint pain and joint swelling, and sometimes they also have chest pain as a result of inflammation surrounding the lining of the lung and the heart. Some patients can have kidney involvement due to SLE, as well as brain involvement where they manifest as seizures and hallucination. All these symptoms are seen collectively along with specific blood test markers that are in the blood for us to come to a conclusive evidence and diagnosis of SLE.
So what causes systemic lupus erythematosus?
The precise etiology in development of such autoimmune diseases are generally not known for sure, but many postulate that genetic factors, UV light exposure, medications, as well as infectious triggers can potentiate the risk of developing SLE. SLE being a common disease, just like rheumatoid arthritis being an autoimmune disease, it is not uncommon for patients with SLE to have siblings or even first-degree relatives with other kinds of autoimmune diseases like autoimmune thyroid disease and rheumatoid arthritis. So it's basically autoimmune diseases are the banner, the umbrella in which these diseases coexist. So it is important to diagnose them at an early stage in order to render treatment early.
So we're talking about treatments.
Yes.
What are the current treatments available in Malaysia?
Right. So depending on where the symptoms lie, if the patients have predominantly joint pain and joint swelling, we start off by giving anti-inflammatory medications, painkillers, but the cornerstone of treatment for every patient who's diagnosed with SLE is a medication called hydroxychloroquine. This is very important because it helps stabilize the disease and prevents recurrent flare-ups. Depending on the symptoms again, the escalation of therapy keeps mounting up. If involvement of the brain or involvement of the kidney is seen, then we have to go in with very strong medications that are called immunosuppressive medications, but these have to be given by trained rheumatologists because these medications, when they are given, they need to be monitored very closely with the blood parameters.
So when you mentioned that genetics is like one of the main causes and about the current treatments available, is it curable?
I mean, all of us would want a cure for all these kind of chronic illnesses, but unfortunately, autoimmune diseases like SLE simply do not have a cure. They basically are like diabetes and hypertension, but somehow people out there, they are more accepting of diseases like diabetes, hypertension and heart disease, whereby they are able to continue medication and comply with medication. But the issue is not the same when it comes to rheumatoid arthritis and SLE. Many are promised a cure, but truly there is no cure. But what we can do is give medications to help control the disease so that the symptoms don't surface and patients don't suffer from the consequence of the disease.
What would your advice be to all Malaysians on autoimmune diseases?
Autoimmune diseases are treatable but not curable. So I would strongly urge young people with signs and symptoms of autoimmune disease to come forward for early treatment and diagnosis. Awareness is of utmost importance. Once a patient accepts and understands the disease that they have, treatment becomes very easy and the outcomes are extremely fruitful. So please see a rheumatologist because there are effective treatments to improve long-term prognosis and outcomes of patients with autoimmune diseases. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Shalini Ramanujam, for being with us on Medical Today.
Thank you.
Nurata Amin there speaking to Dr. Shalini Ramanujam, consultant physician and rheumatologist from Makota Medical Center. We'll take a break and we'll come back with our final segment right here on Medical Today. Stay with us.
I have a vision correction number, but I'm more than a number. When I'm not sharing ideas with my colleagues, I'm defending my kingdom on the back of a dragon. My Eyezen lenses go beyond my correction. They keep my eyes relaxed to stay focused and protect me from harmful blue light. I'm more than a number. I'm the never tired Dragon Eye, Eyezen.
Ask your eye care professional. See more, do more. Essilor.
I have a vision correction number, but I'm more than a number. When I'm not teaching courses, I'm taking steeper grades and tight corners. My SLR lenses go beyond my correction. They make my vision as sharp as my reflexes to capture every detail from near to far at any speed. I'm more than a number. I'm a rapidly focusing champion of courses.
See more, do more. Essilor. Ask your eye care expert for advice.
The final segment of Medical Today on BNC 502. That's if you're on the Astro platform. This is Season 2, Episode 12, to be exacting. If that's too much information for you, we've got more coming your way. Now, in our accidents and incidents segment, we bring you a video on a weekly basis in season 2. Now, this time around, we're looking at what one should do when he or she encounters a choking child. But remember, at all times, before you triage or conduct any emergency routines, please call 999. Here's our video on a choking child. Let's take a look at it.
Conscious infant choking usually cannot cough and breathe effectively. When you come across with this situation, you assume that the baby is choking. First, tap the baby heel and say, "Baby, baby, are you okay?" Then shout for help. "Somebody please call 999 ambulance." Immediately, take the baby, support the baby jaw with hand and arm on the baby chest. Head downwards to enable gravity to assist removal of the foreign body. Support the baby on your thigh. Deliver 5 back blows with the heel of palm in between the shoulder blades. Placing other hand at the baby head and support the neck. Turn the infant, make sure baby head is maintained downwards, and support the baby on the other thigh. Put 2 fingers in the middle of chest between nipples. Deliver 5 chest thrusts. Repeat 5 back blows and 5 chest thrusts until the foreign body expelled or baby becomes unconscious. If the foreign body expelled, quickly bring the baby to nearest clinic or hospital for further assessment. If the baby becomes unconscious, rescuer needs to proceed with CPR.
That was a video in our accidents and incidents segment. Remember, the first order of business in an emergency is to dial 999. I don't mean to sound like a child, but it's good to be giving out this information every so often, just so we're cognizant of what needs to be done at the point of an emergency. Now, if you do have any medical inquiries for us, if you do have any questions for us, please do send us an email. Send it to ask@medicaltoday.my. That's ask@medicaltoday.my, and we'll be more than happy to get you a reply to your question. Or if you'd like for us to feature someone, please write into us. Once again, all you have to do is send an email to ask@medicaltoday.my. Don't forget to catch us on our final episode. Of course, we've got a special coming up, but we can't give you any details for now. Our final episode next week, we will be talking to Dr. Chai Dek Chum, a consultant emergency physician from the Regency Specialist Hospital, joining us right here on the final app of Medical Today on BNC. On that note, I'm Jared Ratnam signing out. You have a fantastic day ahead and a pleasant week. Bye-bye for now.